Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from all over the world where you're connected to us from. You're welcome once again to the Nigerian Seed Sector Platform webinar series. This is the Q1 edition of 2025, the 16th edition from when it started about 4 years ago. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'm sure that we're also going to have, once again, a very interesting edition. This webinar series, we are discussing transforming the horticulture subsector, collaborative solutions for seed quality and access. My name, like you know, is Olusegun Oshundia. I'm the Assistant Chief Agriculture Officer from National Agricultural Council, and I'm also the topic lead for the seed sector platform of the very, very much impacted collaborative seed program. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'll just take you to the housekeeping rules. For the housekeeping rules, we are encouraged to note that the camera and the microphone will only be enabled for speakers and panelists only. Attendees are encouraged to use the chat feature to ask questions and to make comments, which we are going to respond to as they come. Please ensure to address your questions to a particular speaker so that we know who you actually want to give response to your questions. Kindly refrain from posting anything in the chat box that is unrelated to the event. And we assure you that the webinar recording will be available after the event, and we're going to send to all the participants alongside an appreciation email. Thank you, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. You will agree with me that today we are going to discuss a very key issue, a very key topic in the Nigerian seed sector. Today, we're discussing the horticulture sector, and this is a sector that has so many wonderful opportunities. After I've done the setting the scene, we're going to have the welcome remarks by the Acting Director General of National Agricultural Council. We're going to have an official opening remark again from Mr. Folusho Adejoro. And also, after that, we're going to have some goodwill message, first of all, by Mr. Kabir Ademo, which is a business development project manager at Delphi BV. And also, we're going to have from the #1 farmer in Nigeria, the president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, who will also give a goodwill message. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, after that, we'll go straight to keynote presentations, which are innovation and market trends in the horticultural seed sector. That will be, presented by Mr. Olabisi Ilebani. And also, we're going to have another keynote presentation on the future of the Nigerian horticulture sector, which will be presented by Dr. Thomas Tisha from the Magenigi University and Research. Then we're going to have a discussion today, which will facilitate a lot of discussions on horticulture sector. The synthesis by Mr. Chinedu Agbara of Saye Consulting, who will attempt to kind of do like a summary of everything that we're going to discuss today. And I'll come once again to give vote of thanks. And the next presenter also is somebody also a very key seed sector expert, and that is Mr. Folusho Adejoro. Mr. Folusho Adejoro is an agribusiness professional with extensive experience in agricultural value chains across West Africa. He currently serves as a policy advisor on food security and climate at the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Nigeria. In his role, Mr. Adejoro focused on enhancing practice and addressing climate challenges within Nigeria's agricultural sector. He actively engaged in initiatives aimed at empowering youth in agribusiness, as evidenced by his involvement in the launch of the Youth in Agriculture Initiative for Sustainable Growth in Nigeria. Through his work, Mr. Adejoro continues to contribute to the development of policies and programs that aim to transform the Nigerian agricultural landscape sustainably and resilience in the face of climate change. Distinguished participants, I hand you over to Mr. Folusho Adejoro for his official opening remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, Olusegun. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Perfect. The acting DG, all other speakers, panelists, and everyone attending, good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here today representing the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to discuss a critical issue in food security and climate, which is ensuring better seed quality and access in the horticulture subsector. Horticulture plays a crucial role in ensuring food nutrition security and economic development. However, the challenges we face, ranging from climate change to pest infestations, necessitate innovative and united approaches to bolster this vital sector. Addressing these challenges requires practical, science-driven solutions and stronger collaboration between farmers, knowledge institutions, policymakers, and the private sector. As the Dutch will call it, this is the diamond approach. Every great crop starts with a great seed. Quality seeds don't just kick off a healthy plant, they lay the groundwork for higher yields, increased resilience, and improved livelihoods. For example, recent studies have shown that using high quality seeds alone can boost yields by 20 to 30% on average. This is a game changer for smallholder farmers and large producers alike. Yet, many horticultural producers, especially small scale farmers, grapple with limited access to such superior seeds. This disparity hampers productivity and perpetuates a cycle of low income and food insecurity. The Netherlands has been a global leader in horticultural innovation and has extended its expertise to Nigeria through strategic partnerships. For instance, under the Nigeria-Netherlands Seed Partnership, Dutch and Nigerian stakeholders work together to enhance the seed sector performance. This initiative supports the development of a robust seed quality assurance framework guided by the Nigerian National Seed Roadmap. The ensuing program, which we called the Collaborative Seed Program, is a collaboration in every sense between the Wageningen University and Research, SIO Consulting, the Nigerian Agricultural Seed Council, and many other partners, achieved significant improvements in farmers' access to high-quality seeds and strengthened local seed systems by implementing innovative quality control models, providing targeted capacity building, and enhancing public-private partnerships. Today, we'll focus on Auto Nigeria, a program we started in 2021 with many leading partners. In this case, the IFDC, International Fertilizer Development Center, East West Seed Knowledge Transfer, WUR, and KIT. Working under four pillars, it has trained almost 70,000 smallholder farmers and entrepreneurial farmers in Nigeria, increasing productivity, income, and resilience, reducing post-harvest losses by connecting produce to markets and processors, leveraged farmer cooperatives and business knowledge to increase access to finance and business linkages. In the past few months, a statement, "No single individual or institution can solve Africa's challenges alone. Collaboration is key to transformation," has been credited to Dr. Akinwumi Adesina of the African Development Bank. And I believe he is right. It is our collaboration that has helped us achieve numerous transformations that we'll be mentioning today. So I encourage everyone here, whether you are a researcher, policymaker, a seed company, and farmer, to continue to push the boundaries, share insights, embrace new technologies, and support sustainable practices that will allow us to create a resilient horticulture sector that meets not only today's needs, but prepare us for tomorrow's challenges. Our vision is to ensure that every farmer has access to the best seeds, that every innovation reaches those who need it most, and that our communities benefit from a more productive, sustainable, and profitable horticulture industry. Let us keep the conversation going, support one another, and turn our shared ideas into action that directly benefits our farmers and communities. If you allow me, I would end with a story. and maybe a point of reflection for us. At the Changemakers conference last year, there was a young farmer that asked a question. He said, why is it that these quality seeds don't perform well after 4 to 5 years? Today, we would delve on why quality seeds are important, but it still seems that our farmers are treating seeds like they did grains. So, is the cup half full or half empty?
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, and I love the way it ended. Is it half full or half empty? As the program unfolds, we'll know how full it is or how empty it is. Thank you very much. That was a very great presentation by Mr. Folusho Adejoro. Thank you so much for letting us start on a very good note. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, same thing. I'm going to also invite for Mr. Kadri Ibrahim. I think we'll go straight to our keynote presentation. Our first keynote presentation is Innovation and Market Trends in the Horticulture Seed Sector. And that is going to be presented by Mr. Olabisi Ilebani. Mr. Olabisi Ilebani is an Innovation and Regional Diversification Lead at Horti Nigeria Program of the IFDC Nigeria. Mr. Olabisi Ilebani, please, you have the floor for the first keynote presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ilebani.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Good morning, the Acting Director General of Seed Council, all the other speakers, and the organizer of this webinar, and everybody online. It's a pleasure for me to present the keynote address one, or the first keynote address for this webinar. So if you will allow me, kindly let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay. Can you confirm if you can see my screen?
It's up now.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much once again. So as the presenter has already said, my name is BC Lebani. I'm the lead for innovation and regional diversification for the Nigeria program, one of the IFDC programs. This morning, I will be talking to us about innovation and market trend in the horticulture seed sector in Nigeria. I like the welcome address by Mr. Folusho, where he stated the importance of quality seed in the horticulture sector. And according to a research carried out by Model Intelligence in 2024, it showed that Nigeria is the leading seed market in African region. With that, in 2022, Nigeria accounted for about 60.4% of seed share in the seed market. But one thing I want us to know is that this large share was largely due to higher adoption of vegetable cultivation in Nigeria, and also increasing consumption demand and the growing area under cultivation for horticulture. And for example, the area under cultivation for horticulture increased from 18.1 million hectares in 2017 to about 21.9 million hectares in 2022. So at the moment, Nigeria seed sector or Nigeria horticulture sector is experiencing a significant transformation, which is driven by innovation in seed technology, increased investment, and evolving market trends. So this morning, together, we'll be exploring key innovations and the market trend that is shaping the Nigeria horticultural seed industry. And with this, I start with the first innovation, which is on development of climate smart and high yielding seed variety. In order to address some of the challenges of climate change, researchers and seed companies are working tirelessly to develop some seed variety that are resistant, that are tolerant to drought, resistant to heat, and also resistant to some pests and diseases. And one of the major advantage of this is this will go a long way in helping farmers to cope with unpredictable climate conditions. And for example, I'm aware of institutes like NIHOT. At the moment, I know NIHOT is developing about 3 varieties of tomato, which are developed to help the horticulture farmers in Nigeria, most especially in the Southwest, to address some of the challenges that these farmers are passing through. And donor programs like Horti Nigeria, one of the things we'll be doing since inception is to work with seed companies that have this kind of seed, to train our farmers on them, and also to demonstrate and try some of this seed with our farmers in order to improve their resilience and their productivity within this sector. And the second innovation is the hybrid seed and biotechnology. We will all agree with me that the introduction of hybrid seed has led to improved crop performance, thereby offering a better resistance to pests and diseases. And also advancement in biotechnology, which include the genetic modification and marker-assisted breeding, are also being explored to enhance crop resilience and nutritional value. Like I mentioned, I talked about NIHOT with what they are doing on seed, on some of the vegetable seed. I know at the moment, I know they are working on tomato, and I know by and by they are working on some more seed of some of the vegetables that are being planted in the country. Then, out in Nigeria, we are working with NIHOT and other relevant research-oriented seed company. And also, we are carrying out a lot of capacity building for the farmers we are working with in all our intervention areas, like in Kano, Kaduna, Oyo, and Ogun, for them to know the importance of planting hybrid seed and also the good agronomic practices that go along with the use of these quality seeds. One of what we know at the moment, everything is going digitalized, and the seed company or the seed sector is not left behind. E-commerce and digital platforms are playing a crucial role in connecting farmers with quality seed suppliers. We have a mobile app and online marketplace that are being used to facilitate easy access to certified seed, agronomic advice, and real-time market information, which is going a long way in helping horticulture farmers with better decision-making tools. And then we have a seed certification. Councils like National Agricultural Seed Council are strengthening effort to regulate seed industry, and they are doing this by implementing quality control measure. One of these is the use of a certification label and data certification system, which is helping to solve the issue of having fake seed in the market within the country. We can also take away the fact that public-private partnerships are being used at the moment to drive innovation and seed access, and that can be seen in what Horti Nigeria is doing at the moment in the country. One of the things we've been able to do, especially in the southwestern part of Nigeria, is to create entrepreneurial hubs. At the moment, we have 22 entrepreneurial hubs, 11 in Oyo and 11 in Ogun. And one of the things we've been doing with the farmers we are working with within these hubs is to train them on good agronomic practices. We train them on proper use of seed and with proper use of quality seed, and also when it comes to the time to link them to relevant seed companies that produce this quality seed, we'll also go work with them to ensure that. So I will now be taking us through the market trend in Nigeria horticulture seed industry. That is the one that we have at the moment. And the first one is a rising demand for high quality and improved seed. With the growing population of the country, I think the last time, at least recently, it has always been a general thing for all of us to say, oh, the population of Nigeria is about 200 million plus. And these 200 million people have to be fed. because I will quote one of the popular farmers here in the South who always say you can go on strike with everything, but you cannot go on strike with hunger, except if you have decided to fast, or you just want to disturb yourself with hunger. So this high demand has increased the demand for high quality horticultural crops, such as tomato, pepper, onion, and leafy vegetable. And one major fact is that this trend is driving the adoption of improved seed varieties that guarantee high yield and better quality produce. And secondly, expansion of seed distribution networks. We have innovative distribution models that are being explored by seed companies at the moment, and this include agro-dealer networks, direct-to-farmers approaches, and these two approaches has really helped to get certified seed, certified and quality seed to most especially the rural areas. But then we also know that seed companies are leveraging on mobile net technologies and last mile delivery services to ensure timely availability of quality seed to farmers within the sector. And then we have increased investment in horticulture agribusiness. Now we see that local and international agribusiness investors are all recognizing the potential of Nigeria horticulture sector. And with this, there is increase in funding for research, seed production, and market linkages, which is going a long way in creating growth and job creation within the sector, most especially for youth and women in the horticulture sector. Then we have the rising adoption of organic and sustainable farm practices. Because by and by, we notice that consumers are becoming more health conscious, leading to a shift towards organic and sustainable farming. So this trend has been able to influence the demand of farmers for high quality vegetable seed that align with environmentally friendly agricultural practices. And lastly, we have the government policies supporting seed industry growth. The Nigeria government, through agencies like National Agricultural Seed Council, at the moment is implementing policies to promote seed industry growth. And this is one of the initiatives, though I mentioned one earlier, another initiative is also policy and incentive for local seed production to create enabling environment for seed entrepreneurs and farmers within the horticulture sector. And in conclusion, Nigeria at the moment is undergoing rapid transformation through innovation and evolving market dynamics. And the adoption of climate smart seed varieties, digital platforms, and strong public-private partnerships are paving the way for increased productivity and food security. And to sustain this growth, you will all agree with me that there has to be continued investment in research infrastructure and regulatory framework. And this will go a long way in ensuring a resilient and competitive horticulture industry in Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening.
Distinguished participants will agree with me that that was a very brilliant presentation from him, and we really appreciate you for letting Nigerians and people all over the world understand where we are now. But then, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, you would agree with me now that we know where we are, we should also know where we are going to. And it is in that vein that I am going to invite, before I invite him, I'd like to just say a little about him. Dr. Thomas Fisher is an advisor and researcher on socioeconomic inclusion, foresight in food systems at the Wageningen University and Research. He supports programs and research across the African continent to develop food systems while improving the livelihoods of producers and other actors along the supply chain. He has worked in international development for over 17 years and is bringing on board that experience for us to guide us on the next steps. We've had a very great presentation on where we are today by the last speaker, who has really done justice to that subject matter. Now we are going to where we're going to. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you Dr. Thomas Tisha as he presents his keynote presentation on innovation and market trends in the horticulture sector. Dr. Tisha, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Olusegun, and thank you so much, everybody who's listening for joining. It's an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this webinar. You'll just give me. This presentation is about a study that was done last year that was funded by the Netherlands Consulate with a request to look at the Southwest region, so the 6 states of the Southwest in Nigeria, to see where the horticulture sector can go in the coming years. As you probably know, but for those perhaps that are calling in internationally or not so familiar, the Netherlands Embassy has invested considerably into the horticulture sector in different parts of the country. You just heard from Olabisi, whose program is supported by the Dutch and covers 4 states, and this covers the 6 states of Southwest region. So just a word of warning, I'm going to present these slides a little bit quickly. It's not the idea that you have to read and absorb everything, because the slides can be shared after the webinar, as well as also the link to the full study, which you can find here when you get the PDF. So you can take a bit more time to look over the material and find what's specifically useful for you. So, but in short, this is what the study covered. It was looking at the current state of the horticulture sector in these 6 states. It then did a scenario exercise to understand where could the sector go in those 6 states, what would be a desirable future for the coming 20 years. And then it provided 7 key areas in terms of recommendations for different stakeholders to start down that path towards an improved horticultural sector for the Southwest region. So first on the current situation. So, and apologies, I'm aware that there's probably a varied audience listening. So for those who are very familiar with the horticulture sector, some of you may already know some of this stuff, but I'll start with some of the basics. So in short, Southwest is in no way, shape, or form at the moment independent or self-dependent on in terms of producing everything that is demanded by Nigerian consumers in Southwest. In fact, only 20% on an annual basis comes from within the Southwest region. The remaining 80% actually comes from northern states, and specifically Kano, Kaduna, and Plateau, which are really the vegetable basket for the country, but especially for the Southwest region. That's in no small part because of improved irrigation schemes, which have come about from years of investment from the states to support the smallholder communities and producer groups to improve their practices throughout the year. So especially in the I had to flip the screens. Okay, so if you though break down the annual production and flow process by a seasonal between the dry and the wet season, the nuance that comes out here and other is that in the dry season, the Southwest actually produces enough leafy greens year round, but not necessarily tomatoes, onions, sweet peppers, and sweet peppers in the dry season. Of course, I'm aware that horticulture is more than just these produce, but we selected some key produce, which are staples of the diets, to zoom in on. So what the key point here is that actually it's not entirely true that the Southwest is dependent for all produce from the north. it's specific to some key products, but other ones actually show evidence that there is enough productive capacity. Now, secondly, if you distinguish between the cities and the rural areas in the wet season, actually cities and especially Lagos, but also others like Ibadan and Abeokuta, are dependent year-round on the north for those specific produce like tomatoes, onions, and sweet peppers. But in the case of townships and rural areas, they're actually independent. So they can actually service the consumer demand through the wet season in the rural and community and township areas. Now, where this comes from is that even though the smallholders still dominate the horticultural production sector in Southwest, but there is a rising commercial farming sector as well. This is evidenced geographically by these production centers, and if you look at the green dots next to some of the major cities, there's a lot of these production centers which are being established, which both source from smallholders, but are also production centers in and of themselves, which then spread their produce to local rural. So in other words, there's a budding entrepreneurial industry which is emerging in the Southwest sector, dependent on northern production. Now, here, though, there are still a number of production challenges despite this entrepreneurial development. Is access to finance, high pest and disease pressure, although Olabisi just spoke to some of the seed sector innovation, which is trying to address this, varying affordability of inputs. Quality seeds might be available, but the cost of them might be too high. We could discuss that later on, as well as also labor. I'm sure you're aware that in the recent last year and a half, that because partly inflation and workers have actually moved out of the country, at least seasonally, to neighboring countries, which is making labor access a real challenge for many, especially commercial farmers. The key point about midstream is that, and this is another aspect of entrepreneurialism, is that even though it remains an important role for middlemen, producers, in part through to digital platforms, are bypassing those middlemen and aiming to target the market directly. Those could be markets in terms of retail, like hotels or informal wet markets, as well as some of the formal supermarkets, but also consumers directly. Price instability remains an issue. Aggregators and retailers struggle with fluctuating prices. So price trends have been going up, which is what you see on the left-hand graph. The price throughout the year is actually unstable, which makes investments more challenging for all actors. Informality of the market. Unlike in the northern states that, as I said earlier, are the real vegetable basket of the country, there's been a lot less support in and interest in the sector over the past sort of decade or two. That is changing recently, but it requires more to really stabilize those markets and bring more of them from the informal to the formal sector. And that is really an inhibiting factor at the moment. Investments. I will skip this slide just because it sums up and you can read that in your own time. Now, in terms of outlook, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 very key slides on this just to give you an idea of where the sector can go. Now, this graph shows you 3 lines. The bottom one is in terms of actual consumption, which is just under 100 grams a day. If you, I'm sorry, by the way, this is also for the whole of Nigeria, not just Southwest. If you were to raise that to the recommended intake in terms of a healthy diet, which is more than double what the current intake is, you would see the green line, which steadily increases in accordance with population growth. And if you were to adjust that for any harvest lost with an estimated 25%, you would see that the demand for produce increases to about 5.4 million in the coming 5 years. So, and that's versus what the current production is at somewhere about 1.6 million. So the difference between the current production and the demand is enormous. What this table shows in short is this exercise of scenario development. And what we did is rather than trying to look at where are we at today and where is it going, we worked with stakeholders during a series of workshops to say, what could the sector look like in 20 years based on different conditions? And I'll just sum it up with these four boxes. If you see the green box, it says business and state interplay. This is what you could say is the most desirable future, where state regulation in Southwest and business cooperate to improve the operating environment. Excuse me. This is where the state and the business are actually working more hand in hand to really improve the operating environment for the informal, the semi-formal, and the formal sector. And what I mean by that is that a pathway is created for small-scale informal farmers to have the opportunity to scale up to micro business and eventually up to an SME scale. And that the whole spectrum of these types of production, as well as also the transport and retail, is supported to go through this growth. Now, on the left-hand side, the yellow box, this shows actually that this is also a potential. And you see this already in some areas in Southwest, where innovation and entrepreneurship is developing, but without regulation from the public sector, from the states, it limits the scaling. The bottom two, the one I'll start on the left-hand side, are the business as usual, which is if you continue as the trends are today, the environment remains unattractive for larger scale investment. And the state support does not, the state doesn't support that type of investment because it's not improving the operating environment. And then the right-hand side is if there's a misinvestment, which prompts a bias towards large-scale agribusiness and a lack of space and formal support for the informal and small-scale sector. That is together with a weak regulatory environment where, for example, the quality of produce remains unregulated and consumers don't trust what's coming through the supply chains. So what this does is create a couple of different scenarios of what to work towards, but what also to avoid going forward. This breaks it down by state, and I'll skip that for now. So based on that, we provided 7 key areas of recommendations. The key takeaway, well, not to overuse that word, the first takeaway is there's no one area to invest in which will suddenly transform the horticulture sector. It's an iterative process which requires multiple stakeholders. The second point is it's not going to be done by donors or foreign investments. There's a whole variety of local stakeholders in Southwest and those in the rest of the country which want to work in Southwest, which can take this initiative, but that mantle needs to be taken up by them. And I'll explain to you these 7 key areas to work towards the next 5 years to work towards that long-term desirable future. Our first key area is a multi-stakeholder platform. So because there's already so many actors working in the area, from the inputs, production, transport, retail sector, very much oriented around private sector entrepreneurship and development. We're recommending that a coordinating body could really help try and streamline some of the other innovations or the other areas that we recommend to be further developed. So a multi-stakeholder platform for the whole horticulture sector for the Southwest region. Second is policy and regulatory. Third is improved financial products, which are more tailored to the sector. Supply chain and infrastructure. This is very much around cold storage and cold transport to improve or to lower loss of produce along the way. And then farmer capacity as well as broader training and consumer awareness with healthy diets and safe food. Now, when we did a final workshop and we asked the audience.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that great presentation. And I love the momentum that we started, and the momentum is building by this. Now we know where we're going to. And distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the presentations that we didn't have before now, we'll have them after the technical presentation, just for the momentum to keep rising. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce today Mr. Adigun Stephen, the Acting Executive Secretary of the Seed Entrepreneurs Association of Nigeria. Stephen Adigun is a registered animal scientist who backed his master's and bachelor's degree from the University of Ibadan. He's one of us, one of the secretariats of the Subsector platform. He's also a monitoring and evaluation expert. He's worked in the agribusiness industry for a very, very long time now, including being technical assistant to the Sudan, where he provided coordination over the seed policy reforms projects in Nigeria. He attended several trainings and workshops in agriculture, entrepreneur, and business development, and is currently the acting executive secretary of the Seed Entrepreneurs Association of Nigeria, and also Nigerian topic lead for the seed company marketing and promotion under the Netherlands-sponsored collaborative seed program. He co-leads the establishment and management of seed demonstration plots, organization of farmers' field events, social media campaigns, capacity building and training, as well as other promotional and marketing activities by partner seed companies. Mr. Stephen Adigun loves playing the piano, reading, and traveling. Distinguished participants, the next 40 minutes, I'll hand you over to the moderator, Mr. Adigun Stephen, as he moderates the technical presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun, for that wonderful foundation you have laid. I'm very sure our participants are eager to know what do we want to discuss on today's panel session. And I'm happy to inform you that we have 5 capable hands on board. First on the list, we have Dr. Mohammed Lawal Atunda from the NIHOT itself. That's the Nigerian Horticultural Institute. We have Dr. Zainab Gwadabe from Seed Projects. We have Taufik Ahmed, who is an entrepreneurial farmer. We have Mrs. Agbani Omotosho from the Horticultural Unit of the Federal Ministry of Agric and Food Security. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Adisa Yaro, who is the country manager for East West Seed. So I would like our panelists to please come on board, because we have few questions for you to share with our participants today. First on it, we'll be asking Professor Mohammed Lawal Atanda, who is the ED of NIHOT. We'll be asking you some questions. Professor Mohammed Lawal Atanda, please, are you on the call? Please turn on your video so that people can see.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes,
I'm
thank
good.
you very much.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
So, yeah, I'm sure people are wondering what is NIHOT's role in ensuring that we have improved horticultural seed available at high quality in Nigeria. So I want to know, what are the current research initiatives at NIOT which are aimed at improving horticultural seed quality and resilience for vegetable farmers? And how do you ensure that these innovations are accessible to farmers? Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Adigo. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. On our side here at National Horticultural Research Institute, NIHOT, we have a mandate to conduct research into genetic improvement of horticultural crops, which has to do with fruits, vegetables, and ornamental. To go straight to the point, I will pick it from the earlier presentations by both Mr. BC Lebami Otinanja and Dr. Thomas from Waganinga. We are talking about innovations. Yes, we've been working on that regarding the specific varieties of some crops. I will take you by example. Earlier 2023, NIHOT specifically, in line with our mandate as provided for by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we released 3 varieties of tomatoes that are agroecological specific. Just look at Dr. Thomas' presentation. So 20% of those things are being produced or consumed in the Southwest. So one of those varieties we released in early 2023 is specifically for rainforest zone, where you can plant tomato. Because one of the problems of instability of price fluctuation for tomato is the issue of climatic in nature. Like in the Southwest, it's a rainfall zone. So the seed, like tomato, will not do well there. So we bred a specific seed for that purpose. Also in the North, I will take you another example. We are working, just like Mr. Lebami said, you know much about what we do because we are on collaboration level. Seed Council is also aware of this. We are about to release onion varieties that is specifically for dry season, which is for the northern part of the country. So we are working in that regard to make seed available within the limited capacity. Like the opening remark, one of the opening remark presentations said earlier, no single individual can solve this problem. So we are talking of collaboration and partnership. And to get, second question you asked, to get across to the farmer, I will still dictate into 2 things, which is the policy, which Seed Council is now working on now. Local policy to make it available, to make local stakeholders or local actors involved. I think on that, we give credit to Seed Council. They visited us in NIHOT, they visited all our outstations, and we are working on that, involving house growers. We train them so that we can domesticate this our technology. And by and large, with the coming of collaborative seed program, I think that's those people are here, and Horticulture collaboration. Like for example, Horticulture has some group of farmers with us in NIHOT here, and the CSP are also coming on board. So with a lot of collaboration and partnership, I think we can get. There's not only NIHOT, just like Dr. Thomas said. There's no silver bullet approach to this. It has to be collaborative, it has to be partnership, and you have to do it as a unison. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
Just to shed more light, for you to shed more light on this partnership, do you have any partnership with our indigenous companies at the moment, indigenous seed companies in this regard, as well as even agro-dealers network too?
Yeah, thank you very much. Last year, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kari, and the Honorable Minister of States, Dr. Abdullah Ali Usabi, gave us a mandate that we should produce breeder and foundation seed. That is our business. We don't need to go into certified seed. And we switched into action. We came out with a lot of quantity of seed, which Seed Council is also aware because they came to satisfy at that time. So what we are doing at the moment, we are networking with most of these farmer groups to come on board and take this seed and also produce it so that they can share it among themselves. So we are in that process, and a lot of parcels of land have been open in NIHOT. It's a work in progress anyway. And just like we said, the policy issue is just coming in to facilitate that. So we have a good day ahead. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Prof. So I'm going to bring on board Dr. Zainab Gwadabe, who is the MD of Seed Project Company Nigeria, an indigenous seed company in Nigeria. Dr. Gwadabe, please, can I?
Hello, Stephen.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. You're welcome on board.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we want to know the challenges faced by indigenous seed companies and the needed support. So we want to know, what are the main challenges faced in the seed production process? And how do you ensure that these seeds that you produce meet quality standards for our farmers?
Thank you, Stephen. Good morning, everyone. For the seed project, we're still at the early stage of localizing vegetable seed production, which we're working together with NIHOT. So the major issue at the moment, I would say, is like Dr. Atanda said, there is issue of policy in the sense that we are still right now at the moment there are no available equipment to process vegetable seeds in the country. So even if you have the resources to even bring down the equipment, is a bit tedious because we have been on that for almost 4 months now and we are not able to get it down to our facility. So there is issue of infrastructure and technology accessibility. Another thing is Dr. Atanda mentioned climate resilient seeds that can do well in the north and do well in the south. So what we have, one of our major challenge now is the seeds we have locally available can only be produced mainly during dry season. So we're looking at making vegetable, for example, tomato seeds that can be produced all year round, seeds that are heat tolerant, which we are also working with NIHOT. And another thing is storage and post-harvest handling. So even if you for a seed company to start to localize vegetable seed production, most of the seeds that seed companies like me are doing at this stage are tomato, pepper, and onion, which are very sensitive when it comes to storage and logistics. So we are also facing issue in terms of how to transport them, how to store them. We need the research institutes to work on varieties that can thrive in our local climatic condition and can also have a very long shelf life. So these are mostly the challenges we are facing.
Okay. I'm a disciple of one notion that if you tell me your challenges, definitely I will expect solutions from you first. So what are the solutions that you have identified that you have in the pipeline? Because we have a target of 2030 that we want to ensure that we have we're operating at full scale in ensuring that we have vegetable seed in Nigeria. So what are the likely solutions that we would like to provide to enable this?
Well, as you know, Stephen, over the years, most of the seed companies in the country have been importing vegetable seeds. So to address, and if you look at it now in the country, dollar has not been stable and there are a lot of issues around import. Sometimes when you try to import vegetable seeds, you'll see the cost of bringing it down is even higher than the cost of buying that particular vegetable. So localizing the vegetable seed production is the first step. And working with research institutes like partnership to work with research institutes, to work with development partners, to work with the government to produce seeds that are climate resilient in the middle of climate change crisis. Because what is happening now, you'll see in a season like this, we always have seasonal glut of vegetables, especially the tomato. And off season, we have issue of seasonal scarcity. So developing climate resilient seeds that can thrive in the Nigerian context, like something that can be produced all year round, will go a long way to help the farmers. It will help us, the seed companies, and the country as a whole.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have it there, the audience. She has itemized that number one, our forex policy needs to change. They will need to localize the production of vegetable seeds in Nigeria. So I would like to quickly bring on board Mrs. Agbani Omotosho from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Sometimes last year, a state of emergency was declared on the Nigerian food system. So Mrs. Agbani, are you on board? Because you represent the government institution which is in charge of ensuring that Nigerians are food and nutrition secured. Mrs. Agbani, please say hello to us so that we can know you on the call, please, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah,
I've been
good morning,
around listening, and thank you for inviting me.
It's so nice to have you here. Our audience are just so curious to know what is government doing to address some of these challenges that have been identified in terms of ensuring that the partnership between the seed companies and research institutes are solidified. In terms of infrastructure, how do we ensure that we have access to vegetable seed processing equipment in Nigeria? So I want to ask specifically, what government policies are in place to support the horticulture seed sector? And how do these policies address the challenges faced by our farmers in accessing high-quality seeds? Mrs. Agbani, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Generally, we all know that when it comes to the issue of agricultural seeds and seedlings, the National Agricultural Seed Council have the mandate for that. However, the Federal Department of Agriculture has a mandate on production of crops, including horticultural crops of the Horticulture Division in the ministry. Then the Horticulture Division has no direct control on import of seeds, but we promote use of quality seeds through bill of quantity. Whenever there is a procurement activity, we ensure that the only seeds that our contractors bring in are those certified by the Seed Council that are quality seeds and not just grains, because we found out in the past that during procurement, some of these contractors just go to the market and bring in grains, and when such are given to farmers, the kind of yield we're looking for or the premium produce we're looking for is not obtained. So within the ministry ensures that the procurement process through the Federal Department of Agriculture ensures and encourages and sees to it that contractors will not just bring in any kind of or drop any kind of seed, either in. So we, like I said, generally, agricultural seeds and seedlings are mandates of the National Agricultural Seed Council. However, the Federal Department of Agriculture mandate is on production of crops, including horticultural crops of the Horticulture Division in the ministry. The Horticulture Division has no direct control when it comes to import of seeds, but we promote the use of quality seeds through bill of quantity specification in procurement processes. When the procurement, the bill of quantity ensures seeds distributed to farmers supports good quality. We ensure that when the contractors are given their bill of quantity and when they are bringing in seeds, we ensure that those seeds are seeds certified by the Seed Council. So, because in the past, we found that contractors just go and bring in grains, and when those grains are distributed to farmers, we don't get the kind of yield, the country doesn't get the kind of yield we want, we don't get the kind of premium crops we want. But that has since changed. Before contractors are paid, we ensure that quality seeds, good seeds, are the ones that are brought in during procurement processes. Then FDA seed policy ensures that seeds that are distributed, eventually when we are doing distribution, we ensure that distributed seeds are given to farmers at 100% subsidy for seeds. Yes, there could be some cost attached to equipment and other ones, but for seeds, we ensure that for the quality seeds, 100% subsidy is given to them to promote the use of quality seeds, and this reduces recycling. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. Closely related to your last remarks in terms of availability of free seeds to farmers. So some people are online are so much interested. How do they have access to all these government initiatives whereby they can participate in training organized by the Ministry of Agric in terms of even ensuring that they have more knowledge? And more importantly, this issue of extension. What are your thoughts on this, and what are the plans of the ministry in the next few years to ensure that farmers have the right information and even have the access to those information as regards to horticultural production in Nigeria?
Okay, to ensure access to quality seeds, the ministry encourages seed multiplication throughout grower scheme, where some farmers are used in seed production. Also, our ED from NIHOT just talked about some seeds that they had on the shelf, but with the matching order from the minister and the Minister of State, of course, there were a lot of multiplication. And like he said, you heard the ED rightly said that they ensured that those seeds got to the hands of the farmers themselves. The only maybe reservation is that for the seeds they have in NIHOT right now, he said there are seeds that could be used more in the southern part of the country, but they are still working. Also, we heard Madam Guadabe talked about collaboration or partnership with NIHOT, in which they are also working on seeds that could be used in the dry season in the northern part. So the ministry ensures that NIHOT is working, and we have heard it from the ED that seeds are being distributed already to those in the south, and thereby closing a bit of the gap of if there is nothing from the north, the south will not have maybe tomato or other pepper and onion. And the ED also told us that a lot is going on onion, and that will also soon reach the farmers. Then also efforts are also being made to ensure that international seed companies with specification on horticultural crops produce hybrid seeds in country through establishment of seed multiplication centers. This, of course, will reduce cost of horticultural seeds and recycling, and thus improve the use of quality seeds. How that happens is that some of these companies come for presentations, and when they do, we encourage them to bring in their equipment and ensure that they can work, produce this, whatever they're doing, have multiplication centers, have seed produced in country. And of course, there are also training programs in which we partner with experts who train farmers to ensure that, then we also work with agro dealers certified where we facilitate linkages of farmers to these agro dealers where they can get quality seeds. That's the ministry ensures that happens. And one other thing the ministry is doing is that we're in partnership with Horti Nigeria, and Horti Nigeria has done so much in promoting excellence in production of some vegetables, especially tomato,
you,
pepper, and a few other veggies. And they work with some consortium like East-West Seed and East-West Knowledge Transfer. And currently, these companies are ensuring that farmers have access to excellencies, not just the excellencies, they also put them through the use
through the production process itself.
Yeah, the protocols, especially the protocols. Because when farmers have access to excellent good seeds and do not have the production protocols, they just still broadcast them as normal seeds.
Yes,
and then
so that's why I want to bring in the farmer now to give their own view on on what we are discussing at the moment. So, Ma, we very much appreciate your time, but I want to bring in the farmer now at this point of time. I want to bring
Thank you very
in
much.
Mr. Taufik Ahmed, who is an
Thank you.
entrepreneur farmer on board now. Mr. Taufik, please say hello to the house. Mr. Taufik is from the
Should I
Feed the
unmute?
West. Hear you. So quickly, the floor is now open for farmers. Let us now hear from farmers. As an entrepreneurial vegetable farmer, what challenges do you face when sourcing quality seeds?
Yes.
And how do you
Good morning,
manage these challenges to ensure successful harvest? You have the floor now, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is
morning.
Taufik Ahmed. I'm a farmer. So, majorly, our challenges has been sourcing for good quality seeds. So, with the likes of Horti Nigeria and other people, we've been having meetings with stakeholders in the distribution chains, such as seed companies, the retailers. So we have quarterly meetings, monthly meetings where we all meet them. We are able to source directly from them. So we, in that case, we're able to get quality seeds. But there are still some other challenges. Most of the time, you find out that if you go to the market now, we're going towards rainy season, and you find out that a lot of seeds that we need to grow, let's say tomatoes are the hybrid ones, the F ones are not readily available. So it's more or less like, so the ones, the little, maybe the distributors that have or the few that have would hike up the price because it's demand driven. So now I feel the likes of NIOT should work towards developing the right varieties which are much more resistant, because many of farmers tend to run away from them because we feel they don't have enough resistance and we don't have full, let's say, more information on what they are breeding. Let me say an example now. If you want to, like they said now, they are more tailored towards the varieties they have are more tailored towards the rainy season. There's also dry season. We have disease. We need to look at what are the characteristics, what disease is resistant to, what is resistant to. So those are things. Then also, I feel with also Nigeria, they've also been able to educate some of the distributors on how to keep their seeds, because you find out that a lot of times people buy seeds that will not germinate, and I feel it's also another issue. You find out that you've not them for the next for 1 month, 2 months, you've lost time. So I feel also the seed council should also help farmers in terms of making the seed companies also accountable for things like that, because sometimes the batches you find out that a particular batch was bad, the farmers will go buy it, plant it, they've lost money, they've lost time. So there should be policies to say, okay, if you're bringing a particular batch of seed, there should be trial fields where farmers can say, okay, this is how it's growing, this is that, that is that. I think that will help us farmers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik. Farmers have always been agitating for government support, even from the private sector. Farmers want to benefit from any initiative. So I want to know, what kind of support do you think is necessary to ensure that farmers can overcome these seed-related challenges and thereby enhance their productivity? Because we can see that the demand for vegetable in Nigeria is not being met at the moment. We need to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
But without farmers,
yes,
this cannot be achieved.
Yes, so I feel the government should work on having better policies. Like now, I feel if they can have, let's say, because now 95 or I'll say, let's say 80% of most of the vegetable seeds are imported. So if they have a way of maybe giving them a subsidy on it to reduce the cost when shipping it in, or when processing it or something like that. So the price of those things would be more reduced for farmers. Farmers are able to buy more and plant more. Then also, like few years ago, let's say 2 or 3, there was a regime that banned importation of soluble fertilizers. So I think Horti Nigeria and the Netherlands have been working on policies on how to help them, speak to them on how to lift the ban on soluble fertilizers, because whether you like it or not, a few years ago we used to buy soluble fertilizers for about 8,000, 10,000. Now, if you want to buy the same thing, it costs about almost 60 to 80,000 naira. With that, increases the cost of production. So they need to be better policies on how to
go about that.
That will help farmers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik. I'll bring on board the last but not the least panelist now, Dr. Adiza Yaro from East West Seed. Dr. Adiza, are you on the call? Oh, yeah, I can see you. Yeah. So quickly, I'm on the hot seat to quickly round off this panelist session. So I want to know, what role has East West been playing in educating vegetable farmers on the importance of use of quality seeds, as well as other agro inputs, because seed is not just the required input to produce optimal yields. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good day all protocol observed. East West Seed does a lot of market development activities that cuts across vegetable value chain actors, starting from the farmers to agro dealers, marketers, and processors alike. One key activity that stood the test of time and of course provided a working platform for all these stakeholders to interact is to set up demonstration plots where farmers are able not just to see the seeds, but they are able to see other inputs. One of the key highlights of what is happening in the country today, confronted by tomato farmers, everybody knows is a tuta absoluta. So we partner with input companies, AfriAgric, to get tuta traps in their fields. The use of pheromone, of course, is seen on the field, because you can have the best seed or good genetics, but if you don't marry it with other agricultural inputs, you wouldn't get the best out of it. So one other thing we do is we try to run a lot of radio programs, which we know a lot of smallholder farmers are very close to their radios listening. And we don't just speak English, but we also translate into local dialects for the farmers to be able to comprehend. Aside that, the world is changing where you have the world in your palm. So we interact with farmers online on Facebook. A lot of farmers, even in Hausa, in Yoruba, you see them on Facebook sending fields, asking questions, wanting to acquire knowledge. WhatsApp is also another platform that has really worked for us. So aside just the seed, we collaborate with a lot of companies, agro input, we interact with stakeholders, because you can produce the produce or tomato or pepper. If you don't have the right linkages to get to the market, of course, the farmers wouldn't consume all that they produce. So these are some of the things that we do. Then consistently, we also try to ensure that our products, that is the seeds that we sell, comes with a lot of things that will really help the farmers in terms of addressing their concerns. Just like the last farmer has spoken, they have a lot of concerns, they have a lot of challenges. For example, the farmer will ask you, what is the disease-resistant pack that comes with this particular seed? So they watch out for the disease resistant. They look for high quality seeds that give them good yield. They also look at shelf life, because if a farmer cannot sell, he should be able to keep his produce for 2-3 days before he returns to the market.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is it Professor Adisaya now or Doctor, whichever one, but we thank you for sharing insights on how to ensure that farmers get more knowledge and insights on how to use quality seeds. With that, I would like to inform all that we have come to the end of the panel session, and I'm going to hand over now to Mr. Chinedu Agbara, who is going to provide assistances on what we have discussed about. But I think Shegun has some words before Chinedu comes on board. Shegun, over to you. Thank you all very much, everyone.
Thank you very, very much, Stephen. Stephen is an expert in this, and he has really been adding tremendous value to the seed sector platform. Thank you so much for that. He has come with a wealth of experience. We've been on this together for about 4 years now. Before I introduce Mr. Chinedu Agbara, it's very important for you to know a little bit about him. Chinedu is a finance and business management expert with over 10 years experience in investment banking, business advisory, project financing, and relationship management. He currently serves as a manager at Hire Consulting, where he leads the development and implementation of agricultural projects focused on seed systems, catalyzing inclusive growth, and professionalizing farmer associations and innovative agribusiness startups. Before joining Sahel, Chinedu worked with agribusinesses and other corporate entities in raising finance from public and private capital markets. He's worked as a relationship manager for a top financial institution where he initiated and participated in successful negotiations with management, union leaders, diverse stakeholders of public and private organizations. Chinedu has consulted for a family-owned business in Madrid and led sales campaign that requires engaging with multi-stakeholders with different cultural, language, and ethnic backgrounds. Chinedu holds a postgraduate degree in business management, a master's degree in advanced finance from IE Business School, Madrid, and is a charter holder with Chartered Financial Analyst Institute in Virginia, United States of America. Distinguished participants, Mr. Chinedu today will do a synthesis of all that we've discussed today. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hand you over to the capable hands of Mr. Chinedu Agbara, partner Sahel Consult. Mr. Chinedu, you have the floor.
Thanks, Shegun. Thank you, everybody. I think it's been a wonderful session. Yeah, indeed, I'll try to, as much as possible, do a synthesis of what we'll be hearing today. But yeah, I think time will not be on my side. It's been very insightful. So many points that I am struggling on where to start and how to. But maybe I just go in order of how the speakers have happened. So first is to appreciate Stephen and also Shegun yourself for the fantastic coordination that you've done. And also at the beginning, we had an excellent opening remark from the embassy, represented by Folusho, who I don't know, like Stephen said, he's a professor now, also a doctor. But thanks, Folusho, for that wonderful conversation where he highlighted all of the intervention that the Dutch government have been doing in the horticulture sector in Nigeria. It's great, and then also talking about the Dutch diamond, that it's something that brings a lot of collaboration, which throughout the conversations today, we've always all highlighted the importance of collaboration in everything for us to move forward. Thanks, really, Folusho, for that again. We also had the presentations from IFDC on the Halt in Nigeria project by Olabisi Ilebani, who shared the amazing work that is being done. I think also trying to respond to the comments or the requests from Folusho if the cup is half full or is half empty, regarding the fact that our farmers still complain about access to quality seeds after a lot of work that's been done, investments have been done. So where are we? Are we making a lot of progress? And BC basically mentioned all of the intervention that has been done. He also talked about hybrid seeds, the fact that farmers, it's very high yielding, but also means that farmers need to reinvest and be more professional in the way that they use it for them to get the maximum benefit from it. And that's something the Halt in Nigeria team has been helping the farmers to really to build the capacity to make that connection using different digital platforms, making the direct linkages. And we also see when one of the farmers spoke that he appreciated the efforts of Halt in Nigeria in ensuring that farmers are having access to the best quality seed and also the PPPs that have been needed. He also talked about the market demands and so much that is changing in the horticulture sector, the way that the market is beginning to realize the availability of these quality seeds and how Nigerians are also beginning to consume more horticulture crop, and finding that how interesting and also the interest in nutrition and all that. We also had Thomas, who made a very good presentation on the horticulture sector in the Southwest region. I think also that was a study that was funded by the Dutch embassy, and he emphasized, the current state of play in the horticulture sector and the different scenarios of where the sector needs to be. I mean, I think very insightful was the presentation on the production and consumption numbers in the Southwest, and the need to support production particularly in the wet season, in the wet season where a lot of production dries up in the north, and then because the north is focused mainly in the production in the dry season, and then when it comes to the wet season, production dries up in the north, and then consumption in the south is affected because prices then skyrocket, and then that emphasis on how do we support the private sector, support production in the southwest. And this also links a bit to the enterprising nature in the southwest, where there are a lot of people who are trying to make the solutions and connect directly to the companies. I think that it talks about that dynamic is not a north versus south, but then is that okay, the north does a great job in the dry season. How can the south also pick up in the wet season when the north has moved on? Because there are factors that affect the production for the north in the dry season, which he mentioned, like a lot of investment over the years on irrigation, which is very, very good. For the south, also, I think that also then takes me to the presentation by the ED of NIHOT, Dr. Atanda, who explained how NIHOT is really working to get those varieties for the wet season, and get that into the hands of farmers to really encourage high quality seeds in the hands of farmers for wet season production, and then which then ensures that we have that production in the dry season and then production in the wet season, and then prices, a bit of production can be prices can stay a little bit flat to a large extent. But also important to mention that we have a lot of quality varieties. I think this also feeds back to the conversation from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, who mentioned about how they support international seed companies that are bringing varieties into the country to ensure that it's the very best quality. Is to note that there are a lot of high performing varieties outside of the country that have been, there's been a lot of investment by international companies over the years in breeding these very high performing varieties. And what we need to do is to link them to the Nigerian market for them to see the essence of what of the market potential in Nigeria. And then also within that is that there is also the scarcity of some of the local varieties that we consume in the country, particularly the leafy vegetable, which also Thomas talked about. So the importance of having that collaboration, like it was mentioned, no one solution and no single person can solve all the problem. We can't do it all in Nigeria by saying let's ignore all of those high varieties outside of the country. We also know we can't rely completely on the international varieties that are coming in, because some of our indigenous crops are not being covered, our leafy vegetables and all are not being covered. So it's that conversation, and then which leads me to the comments by the farmer, who really said yes, there needs to be an engagement between the government, the local actors, to really encourage inflow of quality varieties from wherever, because the farmer doesn't really, what he wants is quality seeds that he can use to grow the best production, and for him to make the best value for his efforts. So really, that is something that we need to encourage, and I think we can clearly see that we need that collaboration across everybody to make this happen. And then also we had Hadiza, who fantastic presentation of what East West Seed has been doing in terms of helping the farmers understand what the best varieties are, how to use it, and also how to solve some of the
key challenges that they have. We have the issue of tuta absoluta, which usually devastates the farms, but then the work that East West Seed has been doing is phenomenal in this regard. Yeah, so Shegun, I think I hope I've tried to make a synthesis of everything. I know it's almost impossible because it's been a lot of insights shared by the different participants. So first, to also to appreciate them and know that yes, indeed, we'll be sharing a recording of this, and also the materials will be going out to everybody. So let's continue the conversation afterwards. Shegun, back to you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chinedu. Chinedu has really done justice to the subject matter, and so I don't have to say much. If Dr. Shola Buju is there, he wants to give the closing on behalf of the DG of National Geographic Council. Dr. Shaw, I confirm that you're here and give the closing. Is Dr. Shaw there?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Oshundia. And I bring greetings from the Acting Director General National Cultural Seed Council, who has actually put so much plan to be on this webinar today because of the importance of this topic. Horticulture in Nigeria is a sector that we must grow. So speaking from his mind, I want to say this webinar has been mind-blowing, starting from the keynote speakers to the panelists, and having Chinedu giving a nice synthesis of what has been done so far. And we also see that we have people here that know their onions, and they've been able to give us so much leverage and so much insights on what we need to do to develop the sector. But from our own side, what we would like to do is that we don't want this to be just a talk alone, but we want from this webinar to grow to implementation plans and strategy to develop the sector together. And we can only do this with much collaboration. On this note, we want to thank NIHO, the FMA and the Dutch embassy for what they have been doing. And we are committed as NASC, which is a regulatory body for seed in Nigeria, to ensure that we have good and playing platform for development of the horticulture seed sector. Presently, we are members of the OECD seed scheme, which is an elite member of 62 member nations to facilitate international seed trade. We have an ISTA accredited lab status, and we have joined the UPOV. All these are done just to ensure that the seed sector gets to where we are supposed to be as giants of Africa, even in the seed sector. And NACS has also improved its traceability status using the seed codex. So every traded vegetable seed that you buy must be affixed with a seed codex. This is what tells you that you are getting the right seed, which is authentic. And if it doesn't have a seed codex, the watchword is don't buy it. And we have also digitalized our process. This is just part of the things NACS is doing. And not to talk so much, I want to say thank you everyone for joining this webinar, and we look forward to having you in subsequent webinars. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to you, Mr. Shundia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shaw Lagujuba Ankole. Is an assistant director in the Office of the Director General of the National Geographic Council, and he leads the technical team of the DG's office. Thank you so much for doing justice to this subject matter. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, you would agree with me that today we've had yet another very wonderful time together. I would not do justice to this subject matter if I do not mention that this entire process was anchored by the Horti Nigerian team. At the Seed Sector platform, we allow people to come on board and use the platform to showcase the innovations. All the panelists, all the connections and everything to make this successful was done anchored by the Horti Nigeria team. Horti Nigeria, this success is not just for the platform, it's not just for the CSP, but it is for Horti Nigeria. Horti Nigeria, thank you very, very much for using the platform, and it's open for others who want to showcase the innovations that has happened in their affairs. Thank you so much, Sahel. Thank you so much to Maya Tyson, coordinator from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. She's there. She's the one who has given us she's the one that we see when we look back. Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you've done today. See you at the 17th edition of the National Seed Sector Platform.